Hi and welcome back to my channel, Kissed by Starlight. Thank you so much for being here. I am just coming on to do a quick full moon reading wherever you are right now. It's a full moon this evening. However, this reading, as always, is a timeless reading for whenever you find it. So just trust whether or not it resonates for you and the messages that are found here. So we're just asking the angels, your angels, guides and helpers, what messages would like to come forwards today on this full moon. And I'm going to pull the cards before I begin to interpret them, but already we've got the messages, and this almost looks like a circle shape, the circle of the moon, that fluid energy. When we think of the moon and we think of how it controls the waters and the water within us, we're made up of water, and it's hugely important to the flow. So, and already we're seeing in the cards a resistance. There's an aspect of you that is perhaps not allowing the flow to happen. There's an aspect of you that is actually standing against the flow, or maybe it's something or someone standing in the way of the flow here of what is happening. And this could be in a relationship, if that resonates for you, because we are seeing the card of giving and receiving between two people. It doesn't have to be a romantic relationship. It could be any kind of relationship that's happening at the moment. And we're seeing kind of a need to be in flow with a situation. You know, energy, after all, is fluid. It has to change. You know, it has to change and be transformed. Something here is needing to be changed and transformed. And there's an aspect of perhaps head coming into it stronger than the heart. So in other words, maybe you're overthinking this. Maybe there's an aspect, or somebody is overthinking this, and there's a need almost to get out of yourself, out of the body, out of that energy of being so much in thoughts that we're not seeing what's actually going on, that we're not flowing in divine timing and attunement with whatever energies are happening right now. So in other words, you know, this sharing, this energy is almost creating a heart there. It's creating love. There's an aspect of, maybe that's what you've been searching for, maybe that's what you've been wanting. And it's really lovely to receive the turning point card, because if you saw the reading I posted today, that is all about a turning point in a situation, a turning point where something new is coming out of the old. You know, something new is being born out of. And we've got two doorways here. We've got two, you could see it as an escape point, an opportunity to leave something, an opportunity to spend some time alone in thought, in reflection, in contemplation about what is actually going on here and how is it serving you, if it is serving you. And this is a new deck I got today. I've just actually posted a flip through, or if it's not there yet, it should be by the time I post this video, of this beautiful deck that I just received, I just bought today. And I'm not sponsored or paid for any of these reviews. These are literally just done out of love for the cards And I recognize the importance of having a look at something and seeing the cards before you buy the pack, before you buy the deck, to see if it resonates with your energy. And maybe there's an aspect of something like that going on here. Maybe there's not been a full commitment to a situation. Perhaps there's this sense of wanting to see everything, wanting to try everything out before you buy, before you commit, before you invest in the relationship or the situation that's been going on. And that commitment, that commitment, or maybe it's somebody else that's been doing that with you, or a situation or a job or whatever it is for you, a project. What I'm seeing here, and let's pull some more cards just to see what this energy is bringing as this turning point appears. If it's been something that you feel as if you've been chasing your own tail on, then it could be time for you to actually step out and step into a space, that space of in between, where you contemplate what's actually going on here and if it's actually serving you. And there's an aspect of hope and an aspect of trusting your intuition in this liminal phase. It's almost like there are two halves to this reading. There's a definite turning point, there's a definite change in the energy where something is understood, some connection is made between the head and the heart. So whatever maybe hasn't been flowing earlier, whatever intuition hasn't been quite there, and we've got a card, and it's interesting seeing the wolves howling under the full moon. That full moon energy that creates that, you could call it anxiety, or that space where there's a little bit of magic, a little bit of I don't want to say craziness, but where people act out of character, where something is changed, something is forever changed on this evening. And it could be something you're already aware of. I have a feeling you're already aware of whatever this is. I think you've already been striving and working, and perhaps some aspect of you has already actually left this situation. It feels almost like you've stepped out of it already, made a decision. Whether or not your actions are backing that decision or in flow with that decision at this time, maybe for some of you, maybe not for others. But I think this is a door you're walking through. This is a space where you decide to leave something for a time, to look at what's in front of you, where you've been, and how you're being asked to use this as an opportunity to really rise, to set your sights higher, to travel. Perhaps there's an aspect here of traveling, whether that's literal physical traveling, or whether it's astral traveling in your dream time, or in your quiet spaces where you maybe you're doing that through meditation or other ways. But there is joy coming in. So again, and there's a card stuck to this one, so let's see what that one is, because it's just come through with it. Liberation. So in direct contrast almost to what's written on the card, anxiety and joy, there is comfort to be found after this stepping out. There is comfort to be found in your own energy. Perhaps there are animal companions around you. I keep seeing that message, whether somebody's got pets that they're going to be spending more time with, or maybe you're going to be getting a new pet or a new animal in your life, or maybe you're being guided by specific animal guides. In fact, what I would like to do, and they are bringing wisdom. So again, we've got this sense of answers coming, and the answers are coming in direct relation to the head and the heart being connected, being working with each other to actually bring that clarity, to bring that insight. When the head and the heart work together, your insight is just off the charts. You know, your intuition, your third eye, that awakening, that communication that works between them is so profound, so clear, and it does just flow. It does just come easy. You know, we've got a sense of the whale. The whales remind us of our soul song. They remind us of a deep calling home. And this could be home to yourself. It could be home to a specific place, or a location that you're being called to visit. Again, this could be tied in with the travel, or the need to travel, and the need to explore new areas. Maybe a new adventure is on the horizon for you in some way, shape or form. Perhaps that's tied into this decision or this situation that's going on for you. But whatever that is, I do feel that clarity is coming if it hasn't already arrived. And as you walk through this door, as you take this opportunity to leave something behind, as you walk into the freedom, the liberation, you walk away from the storm and into peace. You walk into that beautiful, you know, here this person, there's a sense that they're alone, that they're in solitude, and yet they are so, that there's such an aspect of promise, of magic, of beauty around them. And a sense of protection. You know, for me, the wolves are about protection. They're also about leadership. They're also about being looked after. They're also about boundaries. You know, how are your boundaries? And if your boundaries have been challenged by others, or you're not setting boundaries, you know, now is the time to come into yourself and to explore what these boundaries would be if you need them, if you're feeling that there is a place for them in your life. And as you do this in your own energy, there's this sense of really coming into joy, this sense of walking out of something, coming full circle, understanding something, finding the clarity, and walking into freedom and peace. And freedom and peace can lead you to wherever your journey is wanting to take you next. And again, that will be different depending on what your situation is and what that is for you, you know, as to what that's going to bring in. So yeah, I think whatever this is about, and again, we've got such a clear card of heart and head working together, inspiration, you know, deep intuition, a deep knowing. If you haven't already got that deep knowing, you're going to find that that's going to become clear, that you're going to be filled with the cosmic love of the universe, of the divine beings of light that are surrounding you, that are protecting you, that are working with you, that are opening your heart, opening your vision, so that that collaboration can happen, where you can find and come into a deep peace, or a deeper sense of peace than you've currently been experiencing. And as you come into this peace, you'll find that you naturally begin to claim back your power. You naturally begin to rise. You naturally want to soar into freedom, into liberation from whatever's been holding you back, from whatever has been difficult for you. But I do feel that there is this definite point in between where you're asked to just take some time, even if it's just an evening, a day, a weekend, a few hours, take some time out just to really assess what's going on here and how that is working or not for you, and how you can come into more joy, more freedom, more peace. And if you are going on a trip and you do end up going on a solitary trip, I do feel that there's real magic, you know, as the potential for what you can experience there in that situation, even if you're feeling apprehensive about it, nervous about it, or unhappy to be alone. You're never truly alone. You're always surrounded by beings of light. You're always protected and held in a space of true love when you call on that, when you ask for that, when you speak to your guides, your angels, your helpers, and call on Spirit to be with you. And how beautiful is it that we actually have a full moon in this card for a full moon reading, you know, where we're being asked, what does the full moon bring? And can you see, even between these cards, we have the full moon, which can be a representation of the divine feminine, and the sun, which can be a representation of the divine masculine. And these come into perfect balance and harmony and work beautifully side by side as you listen to the higher thoughts and inspirations and messages that you've been getting, the feelings you've been having about where you are. As you listen to those and as you begin to take action in those, then the two work together in such a beautiful harmony. And that is union, you know, that is coming into union. Of course, as we talked about coming home to ourselves, or a feeling of coming home, that's the ultimate coming home, as the masculine and the feminine are liberated and upgraded into their divine form, and they work side by side with each other. That's the ultimate coming home to ourselves, where we feel empowered, where we feel strong, where we feel able to walk in our truth, in our authenticity, in strength, and with the utmost love and compassion for whatever it is we may have left behind or decided to change, you know, because forgiveness is there. Forgiveness is always there. It's the ability and the choice that we have to be free of whatever has hurt us, to forgive. We don't have to forget it. We don't have to even communicate that, as long as we do the work within to find that peace within ourselves and that reclaim those aspects of ourselves that maybe we were sort of not holding on to or not claiming in times of stress or in times of chaos or in times of confusion. Now we can begin to reclaim our true colours. We can step into who we fully are. And you see these beautiful rainbow colours. This is also a sense for me of the next step on your path of this ascension journey, where we're called to come into our highest selves and unify all parts of ourselves. Again, this aspect of everything working together in divine union. And that's what this card that also came up with, the master the dance, you know, the collaboration of head and heart, the unification of ourselves, coming into one with ourselves, coming into ultimate connection to source, to spirit, you know, to the light, really, that source light that we all understand is everything, is all that is, you know, it's divinity in motion, and us taking the next step towards our mastery, towards the purpose that we came to step into, towards the purpose that we came to earth to fulfill, you know, and that is mastery of whatever those lessons, those challenges, those situations are that we came to master. Here we are taking the steps to come into that sense of wholeness, that sense of divinity, of understanding who we are, and wearing that you know, that sense of that royal crown, where we come into our personal power, into our truth. It's really a beautiful reading. This is really a really huge point that we are moving into. Take your time, you know, listen to yourself, most importantly, so that you're always stepping in tune, in time with the truth of you, that you're feeling, that you're understanding, and you're working with the divine, with the universe, coming into flow with all of life and the universe and everything it would like to bring to you now, as you dance this dance, you know, gracefully, fluidly, with passion, with purpose, with truth, with authenticity, with integrity. Be your best self. You know, I've had that card on my desk, these cards created by a dear friend of mine, which I will do a walkthrough on my channel. I'm grateful for the opportunity to grow and evolve into the best version of myself. Here, this full moon, we're given the opportunity to leave behind whatever is no longer in alignment with us and to walk forwards into the truth, all the truth of who we are. And be brave, have courage, listen to your heart, listen to yourself, listen to your soul. You know what to do, you know what you need to do. Don't listen to me or anybody else. Listen to your truth. Listen to the truth of who you are and follow that. Always trust your intuition. And know that you are guided, you are loved, you are held by these beings of light that surround you always and in all ways. So thank you so much for being here. Thank you for liking, sharing and subscribing to my channel. I'm so grateful for you all, and I really look forward to seeing you in the next reading. Please do feel free to share with me in the comments what's going on for you. I'm sending you so much love.